Hi, it's John with Vision Advisors, and welcome to another Insight with Vision. In this particular episode, I want to share a few tips and tricks to improving your social media results. Now, many of you in the financial services industry have migrated to doing at least some of your marketing on one or more of the channels that you see focused here: LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Google, YouTube. If you're not utilizing these tools and resources, you're missing an opportunity to engage with customers you may not otherwise have an opportunity to reach. And if used properly, this can be a phenomenal way to not only attract and convert people that may be interested but don't yet know what you do, but it is a fantastic way to cultivate relationship and ultimately create opportunities for you to become referable to the clients that you're working with, to the centers of influence that they have. Now, as you think about social media, everybody has this brilliant idea that if I just put a message out on one or more of these platforms, everybody's going to see it, and I'm going to see amazing success. Well, I hate to tell you this, but it's not quite that simple. In fact, every time you put a post out on Facebook, only a very small percentage of people that are online in any given day see that. And in fact, the number will surprise you. Only 6% of your followers, notice what I said, only 6% of the people that are following you, they have gone to your page, they've clicked the like button, and they're following you. Only 6% of the people who are following you are going to organically see your post on their feed. So if you think you can get a bunch of followers on social media and simply post, and your messages are going to show up all over their pages, that's not happening. The algorithm of Facebook is designed to limit the exposure of any one particular post to around 6% of the people that are following your feed. Now, the second common fallacy people think is if they get a like and somebody comes in and likes their page or likes their post, that boosts their exposure. Likes don't help. You can have 100 people like your post, and it really doesn't move the needle as it relates to that message reaching a broader audience, or that message really making an impact and staying on the page longer. But one thing that does help, and something that you need to encourage, is getting a comment. Every time someone not just likes your page, but they comment on your page, that is a way to move the needle in your favor and to gain more exposure. So if you can get a client to like it, fantastic. It doesn't grant you more exposure, but if they will like it and also post a comment, that extends the time that that particular post will appear in the news feed for your followers to see, but it also expands the number of people that that particular post will reach. So if you can get a number of comments, the more the better. The more comments you get on any particular post you make, whether it's, again, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, you pick the platform, more comments drives more exposure. Why? Because the platforms have advertisers that pay to be on their page. And as people are making comments, they know that those individuals are staying on your particular page longer. The powers that be with the social media platforms are going to use that as an opportunity to go through their paid advisors and say, this particular post is getting a lot of attention. Maybe you want to put some ads there. And it allows them to drive their advertisers to more potent posts, because as more people see it and it spreads, there's an opportunity for them not only to see your message, but that little advertiser over in the right-hand corner offering something that they're offering to people and are paying to play in that particular space. So now maybe the question you may be asking is, John, how do I get more comments? How do I gain the exposure and encourage the people who are following me to comment on the posts that I'm making? Well, one of the easiest ways to do that is to ask them to share. If you've got people that already know you, like you, trust you, they've drank the Kool-Aid, they believe in what you are doing for them, and you put a message out and you ask them to share that with their friends, their family, their neighbor, their coworker, or just say, hey, share this with a friend. Many people will click the share button and they will push your post onto their timeline, which will extend the opportunity for that post to be seen by 6% of their followers. And if one of their followers shares that post, now another 6%. And if you can get several people sharing your post and pushing it forward, it broadens the audience and gets your message in front of consumers you otherwise would not have had an opportunity to put that message in front of. Another way you can do that is to pay for promotion. You can utilize what's called a boost, or you can pay for advertising, where they will take a particular post that you have put on social media, and through a sponsored ad, you will see oftentimes on social media sponsored content. Well, that sponsored content is where someone has paid to have a particular post promoted by that particular social media platform to put you in front of a particular audience that you have selected based upon the filters that you've chosen. Specific demographic and psychographic profiles you can use to filter that message. So if you want to take a post that you've put out that speaks to people who are within 5 years of retirement, and you want that to reach other people that that message would resonate with, you can pay for this post to go to people between the ages of 55 and 65 that have a particular income and asset class, and you can pay 25, 50, $100, whatever you want to use in your budget to push that message out in front of lookalike customers. Now, if your message doesn't have a call to action, great, they see it, but if they don't know what to do once they see it, that's something that's got to be fixed. Different message for a different day, but you can pay for promotion. Now, there's a couple of other interesting things that you can do that don't cost money. You can ask a question. As you're putting your post up there, maybe it's a social media image, whatever it is that you're sharing, in the content that you're sharing, you can ask a question of your audience. Does this apply to you? Or what are you doing to save for retirement? Or do you think you've saved enough? Those are just 2 or 3 sample questions that you can use to invoke a response. The goal is to get a comment. And people, when they see a question, for many of us, we've been taught if a question is asked, we have to answer the question. There's a logic loop in our brain that when we see a question, we've got to provide an answer to close the loop. And for many of us, in the way we're hardwired, that's something that has to be done. So asking a question can be a compelling way to get a response, to get that comment, to boost your exposure online. Another way to do so is to utilize a poll or a survey. You're sharing some information with your followers, and you include in that a poll or a survey. This is a great way to gather information on your lookalike customers to find out their wants, their needs, their preferences, what about a particular article or particular piece that you shared resonated with them, or information on content that they would love an opportunity to see. Polls and surveys are a great way to solicit information, but also to identify the pain points and the information questions that consumers may be asking that you can then come back and follow up with a post. Now, you can share a compelling picture with your audience. Pets are amazing. People are drawn to pets. Something within our psyche, most of us love pets. And when you see a picture of a pet, it's going to draw information to at least get them to pay attention for a moment to the message that you're sharing. And oftentimes the comment may be nothing more than an, "Ah, pretty dog," or "Ah, what a gorgeous cat," or "I hate cats," whatever it may be. But getting that response is what you want in that message. You can also share an inspiring quote and again tie into that an opportunity and an invitation to share the quote. Or what do you think about this powerful message that Abraham Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., you pick the individual that you want to quote and you share that. This is another way to generate an opportunity to get a comment that spreads the reach of your message. You can also share relevant statistics. Utilizing a relevant statistic to speak to an issue or a concern can prompt a response. Tied into a compelling question, this can be a very powerful way to drive comments that spreads your message organically and get you in front of more people without having to spend a lot of time, energy, and money. So you post a compelling statistic such as, and I'm going to make a statistic up, 68% of all retirees will be without income 5 to 7 years into retirement. Now, again, that's not a statistic, but if you had a statistic like that you could put out there, and then you asked a question following up that, do you believe you are in the 68 or you're in the 32 that are fully prepared? What a great way to ask a conversation. And anybody that raises their hand by commenting, I'm in the 68. Now you've got an opportunity to follow up with them. But the goal of getting people to comment to your social media post is to do one thing, to stir their emotions. Remember, in the buying process, the intellectual, emotional tirade that the brain goes through in processing information to make a buying decision, that very first emotion is what you've got to stir, because our brain makes emotional decisions first, and then it is validated by the logical conscious part of our brain. So we've got to stir the subconscious where our emotions reside with the images and messages that we're putting out in the marketplace to evoke that response in the first place. And when you can effectively do that through some of the strategies I've shared in this insight video, it resets the algorithm with the particular social media platforms that you may be using. As an example, if you can get a comment on LinkedIn, their algorithm reviews the comments of posts around every 4 hours. So if you can get one post every 4 hours of someone responding to what you put out there on social media, on LinkedIn, it's going to extend the exposure of that particular post. And if somebody else adds a comment, it extends it another 4-hour period. Every particular social media platform has an algorithm, a programmed response time that will leave a message up before it begins to fade into obscurity. And getting your folks to comment is a way to reset the algorithm to expand the visibility. And what does that ultimately do? It gets more people looking at your posts. Now, it's important that you go back to see who's looking at your post, because every like, every love, every wow, and every comment is a lead opportunity for you to engage with and follow up on. One of the things we know the top 5% of sales professionals do that the 95% of mediocre and average don't is they engage their consumers in social media conversation. If someone makes a post, they acknowledge it, whether if it's nothing more than thank you for making the post, or it's asking a follow-up question, why did you answer that question that way, or some type of outreach online where they will engage to continue the conversation. It does two things. It allows those that are following you to see that you are actively engaged and you're paying attention to their comments. You are adding value to them. You are stroking their ego, and you are allowing them to feel wanted and respected because you're taking the time to comment. But at the same time, continuing that conversation also extends the reach and the exposure time of that particular message, giving more people an opportunity to jump in and join the conversation. It doesn't take a lot of time. Michael Hyatt, who was a famous person, wrote the book Platform. Michael is still out there, michaelhyatt.com. And one of the things he talks about in his book Platform is spending 30 minutes a day in the world of social media. Just 30 minutes a day, tweeting, posting, responding, and engaging with your customers. And your prospective customers can go a huge, huge way to expanding your audience and engaging with people you otherwise might not have an opportunity to meet and to share with them who you are, what you do, how you uniquely do it, and the benefit of them, or the benefit to them, of working with you. Now, if you need help with your messaging, that's one of the things we do here at Vision Advisors. We understand how to help you get the right message to the right person at the right time using the right marketing mediums so that you can create the right results for your business. That's what we do every single day here at Vision Advisors. If you're not working with us, and even if you are and we've not had that conversation, we'd welcome an opportunity to talk to you about how we can help you with messaging in a variety of different formats. Again, to work with you to get the right message to the right person at the right time using the right marketing mediums to create the right results for you, customers you work with, and ultimately the right results for your bottom line. I'm John Terry with Vision Advisors. By the way, you can reach us at 1-800-505-8489. Press 0 when the voice prompt comes on, and you'll be connected immediately to one of our business consultants. Or you can go to our website, visionadvisorsinc.com, scroll to the bottom of the home page, and you can schedule a 30-minute strategy call with any of our business consultants to talk about what we can do for you to help you up-level your results and see more success in your practice. Again, I'm John Terry with Vision Advisors. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.